Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to absolutely demystify structural equation modeling by diving into a really fascinating e-commerce case study. If you've ever wondered how hidden factors can silently amplify or, completely mute the results of your data, well, you're in exactly the right place. We're going to take all this complex math and make it incredibly clear.
Okay, let's take a quick look at our agenda for today. We'll be covering the concept of moderating variables, our research case framework, running SmartPLS SEM, measurement model analysis, indicator value adjustment, and finally, HMTM discriminant validity.
Section 1, Concept of Moderating Variables.
So before we start clicking around in the software, we need to establish what a moderating variable is actually doing in our statistical model. Think of it kind of like a volume dial on a speaker. It doesn't necessarily create the sound itself, right? But it absolutely amplifies or mutes the effects of the other variables in our study. It's there to test whether the relationship between your independent and dependent variables changes under very specific conditions. Basically, it helps us answer a really crucial question. Does this effect stay exactly the same, or does it depend on something else entirely?
Moving on to Section 2, Research Case Framework.
Having a concrete example makes all these abstract concepts so much easier to grasp. So here's our actual mission. We're testing how 4 distinct independent variables, product quality, promotion, digital marketing, and electronic word of mouth, influence our main dependent variable, which is online purchase decisions. But here's the twist. We're introducing customer satisfaction. In this specific model, customer satisfaction is acting as our volume dial, our moderator. We really want to see if high or low customer satisfaction changes the strength of how, say, a great promotion actually drives a purchase decision.
All right, Section 3, Running SmartPLS SEM.
Now we get to jump straight into the software to build this whole thing out. This is where the theory turns into practice. And honestly, adding this moderator into the software is a delightfully simple 3-click process. You start right on your dependent variable. You don't need to write out any complex equations. You literally just tell the software how you want the variables to interact. The interface here is just incredibly intuitive. You simply right-click your dependent variable, which pops open your settings menu. From there, you just define your dependent variable, set customer satisfaction as the moderator, and select your predictor, something like product quality. It's an incredibly smooth setup.
And boom, instantly SmartPLS updates our model, visualizing those brand new interactive effects as those distinctive green bubbles. These bubbles are actually representing the mathematical interaction between your predictors and your moderator. The software just automatically handles calculating all the product indicators, seamlessly embedding those moderating effects right into the visual flow of our model. It's super clean.
Which brings us to Section 4, Measurement Model Analysis. With our model fully built, we triggered the PLS algorithm calculation. Why? Because we need to prove that the data we're using is actually reliable and valid. It's basically a game of red light, green light for convergent validity. For an indicator to be considered highly helpful in explaining a latent construct, its loading factor has got to hit at least 0.70. At the very same time, the average variance extracted, or AVE, needs to clear 0.50. If it does, that means the structure explains more than 50% of the variance of its indicators.
But, look closely right here. We've got a bit of a problem. There are red numbers popping up, indicating a total failure to meet those criteria. While most of our variables are sitting at a really healthy green, the product quality variable has an AVE sitting at an invalid 0.458. It just completely failed to cross that 0.50 threshold. So what happens now? When our numbers turn red, does this mean our entire research project is totally ruined? Do we have to scrap the whole survey, panic, and just start over from scratch because of a couple of red numbers?
Section 5, Indicator Value Adjustment.
Absolutely not. No panic required whatsoever. We just need to perform some really strategic indicator adjustments. Believe it or not, this is a super normal part of structural equation modeling. The troubleshooting sequence is straightforward. We just hunt down the specific indicators that are causing that low AVE, eliminate them, and run the calculation one more time. Usually, a low AVE is being dragged down by individual loading factors that just couldn't meet that 0.70 threshold we talked about.
So back in your conceptual framework, it's a piece of cake. You simply identify the faulty yellow indicator box that had the low score, right-click it, and hit delete. Think of it like pruning the weak branches off a tree so that the overall construct becomes significantly stronger and much more statistically valid. And just look at the result of that little pruning session. A completely clean sweep of green, valid numbers. By just dropping those underperforming indicators, our AVE naturally recalculates, clears the necessary threshold, and gives us the green light to keep moving forward.
Finally, Section 6, HTMT discriminant validity. Okay, we have one final hurdle to clear in evaluating our measurement model. We really need to ensure that our separate variables aren't accidentally measuring the exact same concept. To prove our constructs are truly distinct from one another, we check what's called the heterotrait-monotrait ratio, or HTMT for short. We're aiming for values below 0.85 for strict validation, though honestly, some models will accept up to 0.90. Seeing these values stay nice and low is great. It confirms our variables, like product quality and promotion, are genuinely statistically unique components in our study.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a thought. Consider how utilizing a moderator, like that volume dial we talked about, could completely uncover fascinating new insights in your own datasets. What conditions might be silently amplifying or maybe dampening your results right now? Now that you've seen firsthand how seamlessly SmartPLS handles moderating effects and indicator adjustments, you've got the tools to go unlock those hidden relationships yourself. Keep exploring, keep analyzing, and I really hope this structural modeling journey has sparked some incredible ideas for your next big project.